The computer is ready. The first hot air balloon flight was 191 years ago in France. The passengers were a rooster, a duck, and a sheep. They all landed safely. Linda, what time is it?
Now it's time for How It Works, Bob. And tonight we're going to try to explain to you very simply and briefly just how this program is coming to you. Since this show is pre-recorded, what you are seeing and hearing right now is originating from a videotape reel from the 19th floor of the Merchandise Mart. And instantaneously, it travels to the top of this building, across town to the Hancock building, up to our transmitting antenna, and out to your set with literally no loss of time. Bob will explain.
The Channel 5 transmitter is located on the 93rd floor of the Hancock building. These large dishes are receiving a microwave signal from a sending dish atop the Merchandise Mart. In general terms, a microwave signal could be compared to a beam of light. It travels at the speed of light, and it travels in a straight line. Similar dishes are also used to receive a Channel 5 program that might originate from a location other than the Merchandise Mart. That's called a remote broadcast, and it could be a live telecast of a sports event or special on-the-spot news coverage.
And this is about Dennis?
Now, just the idea of a TV program in color with sound flying through the air at incredible speed is difficult to comprehend. And what happens here is even more astounding. Again, with no time loss, the signal goes from these dishes to the Channel 5 transmitter, where the picture and sound are separated, processed, and adjusted before traveling by cable up to the antenna on top of the Hancock building. The antenna then transmits the signal for a distance of approximately 60 miles in all directions. For example, when Floyd Calver is reading news in a Channel 5 studio, a television set in, say, Elgin is carrying the sound and picture at the instant it happens. This is possible because the program signal travels at the speed of light via electromagnetic waves. Of course, other Chicago television stations are also transmitting programs, and in order for all of them to have a clear signal, they operate on different frequencies that are assigned by the Federal Communications Commission. For instance, Channel 5 would transmit a different number of waves per second than the other channels would, and your television set is equipped to receive the different frequencies. All you have to do is dial the one you want. There are two factors that determine how far the Channel 5 signal goes out: the height of the transmitting antenna and the amount of electric power used to transmit the signal. And so when the WMAQ-TV transmitter was moved from the Kemper building to the higher location at the Hancock building, there had to be a reduction of power to keep the signal within the limits prescribed by the FCC. We're not even going to try to explain all this complicated machinery here, but by seeing it, you can get some idea of the complexity of this operation. And as you might imagine, there is backup machinery for all of this: 2 transmitters and 2 separate power sources. There are at least 2 men working at this transmitter most of the time, 3 8-hour shifts every day. During normal business hours, a supervising engineer is also present. All of the engineers who work here must be licensed by the FCC. That means they must have a certain amount of training and skills in the operation and maintenance of broadcast equipment. The men who work here are constantly checking to make sure the audio and video signals leaving the transmitter are of high broadcast quality, and they have a lot of technical tools to help them. This is a weekday afternoon, and while a soap opera is being broadcast, these 2 engineers, Conrad Mangum and Bud Ream, are checking color and picture and sound quality. And just in case there's some kind of calamity at the Merchandise Mart, they have a slide and film projector and audio equipment here at the transmitter to keep the station on the air until the problem is solved. And although these engineers who work at the transmitter are somewhat removed geographically from the station, they have communications lines to stay in constant touch with the station. and if necessary, with the crews from the other stations that also transmit from the Hancock building. And so, in truth, this program really does not exist without an audience. And without all this complex equipment and skilled engineers to operate it, there would be no audience.
You know, Linda, I wrote that script, and I think I understand. You know, basically what the transmitter does. I still don't know how they can send color pictures and sound through the air like that. I never understood radio.
It's a miracle of television.
Yes, I'm just grateful that they have all that equipment.
Me too.
Otherwise,
we wouldn't have jobs.
we're sitting here by ourselves. Yeah. Okay. During the course of this program, we've done